Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I've got a story that's going to make you rethink your next hotel stay. Seriously, this experience was so bizarre that I just had to share it with you all. Grab your favorite beverage, get comfy, and let's dive into this wild ride. So, have you ever stayed in a place that seemed totally normal at first but then turned into an absolute nightmare? Well, that's exactly what happened to me recently, and trust me, it's a tale filled with unexpected twists and turns. By the end of this video, you'll understand why it's crucial to trust your instincts when something feels off, no matter how logical things seem on the surface. Let's get into it. Alright, let's rewind a bit. A few weeks ago, I was neck deep in projects, deadlines looming, and the stress levels were off the charts. You know how it is. Burnout was imminent. So, I decided to take a spontaneous trip to recharge. I hopped online to find the perfect spot. After filtering through countless options, I stumbled upon a hotel that seemed like a hidden gem. It boasted a 4.8-star rating with over 1,200 reviews. The comments were glowing. People raving about the exceptional service, cutting-edge amenities, and tranquil location. What caught my eye was the hotel's emphasis on integrating advanced technology into the guest experience. We're talking smart rooms with IoT devices, biometric security systems, and even AI-powered customer service bots. For a tech enthusiast like me, this was nirvana. The price was surprisingly reasonable, a standard room for $140 per night during peak season. Considering the average rate for similar accommodations in the area was around $200, this seemed like a steal. I cross-referenced the hotel's credentials, checked for any red flags like hidden fees or misleading photos, but everything appeared legit. With all that squared away, I booked a 3-night stay, excited to experience this tech-forward oasis. Fast forward to arrival day. The drive was smooth, and GPS indicated that the hotel was nestled in a secluded area surrounded by lush forests. Sounds perfect, right? But as I approached the location, I noticed that the road became increasingly narrow and less maintained. My car's GPS lost signal briefly, which was odd given that I have an updated map system with real-time satellite connectivity. Finally, I arrived, or so I thought. The building in front of me was a far cry from the sleek, modern architecture I'd seen online. Instead, it was an imposing structure with Gothic Revival elements, think pointed arches, ribbed vaults, and flying buttresses. As someone with a background in architectural engineering, I was intrigued but also puzzled. The hotel entrance was adorned with weathered stone carvings, and the sign bearing the hotel's name looked ancient. There were no other cars in the parking lot, which could hold at least 50 vehicles. The area's silence was palpable, not even the chirping of birds or rustling of leaves. I began to question whether I'd arrived at the right place. Double-checking the address, it matched perfectly. Perhaps they had renovated the interior and left the historic exterior intact? It's not uncommon for establishments to preserve architectural heritage. I walked into the lobby, and the first thing that struck me was the air quality. There was a slight mustiness, indicating poor ventilation, a stark contrast to modern HVAC standards that prioritize air circulation and filtration. The lighting was dim, utilizing incandescent bulbs rather than energy-efficient LEDs. The receptionist looked up as I approached. She wore dated attire, reminiscent of the 1950s, and her demeanor was off. No greeting, no smile, just a blank stare. I gave her my name, and without a word, she handed me a physical key attached to a heavy brass keychain engraved with the number 217. Taking the vintage elevator, which operated using a manual lever system, I couldn't help but notice the lack of modern safety features like emergency stop buttons or an operational certificate posted inside. My room was on the 3rd floor. Exiting the elevator, the hallway was dimly lit, and the patterned carpet showed significant wear and tear. The wallpaper featured intricate designs but was peeling at the edges, a sign of prolonged neglect. Entering the room, I was met with a chilling draft. The thermostat was an old analog model, and despite turning the knob, there was no response from the heating system. The room's decor was antiquated. A 4-poster bed, an ornate writing desk, and an armchair upholstered in faded fabric. There was no sign of the advertised smart technology, no smart mirrors, no automated blinds, nothing. The promised high-speed internet was non-existent, there wasn't even a Wi-Fi network available. Feeling a bit unsettled, I decided to contact the front desk. The rotary phone on the bedside table had a dial tone, but when I pressed 0, the line went dead. Strange. I tried using my cell phone, but there was no signal. Considering we're in an age where even remote areas have coverage thanks to expansive cellular networks and satellite backups, this was highly unusual. Then, I heard it, a faint humming sound, like distant machinery. It grew louder, accompanied by intermittent knocking noises from the walls. My first thought was faulty plumbing or perhaps old electrical wiring generating electromagnetic interference. Being an electrical engineer, I know that outdated wiring can create EMF hotspots, which in rare cases can affect human physiology, leading to feelings of unease or even hallucinations. I decided to do a quick EMF measurement using an app on my phone designed for detecting electromagnetic fields. Shockingly, the readings were off the charts, far exceeding the typical ambient levels of 0.2 to 1.0 milligauss. I was getting readings upwards of 100 milligauss. Night fell, and things escalated. The humming intensified, and the light fixtures began flickering erratically. I noticed a liquid seeping from the walls, a viscous, reddish-brown substance. Testing it with a pocket chemical analyzer, it revealed high concentrations of iron oxide, essentially rust mixed with moisture. Suddenly, the TV turned on by itself, displaying static and distorted images. Snippets of old broadcasts played intermittently, some dating back to the early days of television, judging by the content and presentation style. The temperature in the room plummeted to 10 degrees Celsius, 50 degrees Fahrenheit, as confirmed by a portable thermometer I had in my travel kit. My breath was visible, and despite layering up, I couldn't shake the chill. I attempted to leave the room, but the door wouldn't budge. The locking mechanism seemed jammed. Applying force didn't help, and considering the solid oak construction, breaking it down wasn't an option without tools. Trapped, I searched for alternative exits or ways to communicate. Remembering that some old buildings have interconnected rooms or servant passages, I inspected the room thoroughly. Behind a large tapestry, I discovered a hidden door, a maintenance shaft of sorts. Crawling through the narrow passage, I found myself in a network of corridors behind the walls. The EMF readings here were even higher, spiking unpredictably. I encountered old machinery emitting heat and noise, generators or transformers perhaps, that didn't comply with any modern electrical codes. The equipment looked like it hadn't been serviced in decades, posing serious safety hazards. Eventually, I reached a staircase leading down. Hoping to find an exit or at least someone who could help, I descended. In the basement, I stumbled upon a room filled with archives, old newspapers, photographs, and logs. What I uncovered was disturbing. The hotel had been shut down in 1978 after a series of mysterious incidents, including disappearances and reports of paranormal activity. The building was deemed unsafe due to structural weaknesses and violations of electrical standards. Further digging revealed that the site was once used for clandestine experiments in electromagnetic research during the Cold War era. The government allegedly conducted tests on the effects of high-level EMF exposure on human subjects. Documents detailed how prolonged exposure could lead to confusion, hallucinations, and psychological distress. The hotel's reopening was never officially sanctioned. In fact, there were no records of renovation permits or business licenses, a complete ghost operation. Armed with this unsettling knowledge, I knew I had to get out immediately. I navigated through the basement, searching for a service exit. I encountered a locked steel door. Using a nearby pipe as a lever, a basic application of mechanical advantage, I managed to force it open. The door led to a tunnel that emerged about 200 meters from the main building. Once outside, I realized that my car was nowhere to be seen. The parking lot was overgrown with vegetation, and the markings had faded. It was as if decades had passed. Panicking, I hiked towards the main road, guided by the position of the North Star and my watch's compass feature, a throwback to basic orienteering skills. After what felt like hours, I reached a gas station. The attendant looked surprised to see me. I explained my situation, and he informed me that the hotel had been abandoned for over 40 years. Locals avoided it due to its sinister reputation. Shockingly, when I checked my phone, it was the same date as when I first arrived. Yet, my watch indicated that 2 days had passed, a discrepancy that defied logic. I reported the incident to the local authorities, who conducted a search but found no trace of the hotel's operation. The building was indeed abandoned, matching the historical records. Consulting with experts in electromagnetic phenomena, they suggested that exposure to extreme EMF levels could disrupt circadian rhythms and cognitive functions, potentially explaining the time distortion and hallucinations. However, this didn't account for the physical evidence I had collected, the documents, the EMF readings, and the chemical analysis from the substances I'd encountered. So, there you have it, a terrifying experience that blends the lines between science and the inexplicable. This ordeal taught me that no matter how technologically advanced we become, there are still mysteries that elude logic and understanding. Always trust your instincts, and don't let the allure of shiny tech or outstanding reviews override basic caution. Sometimes, if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Have any of you experienced anything similar or have insights into electromagnetic effects on human perception? Drop a comment below, and let's get the conversation started. If you found this story intriguing, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. Thanks for tuning in, and stay curious, my friends.